Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connections. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by the wonderful Christian singer, Laura Williams. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much for joining me.
having me.
What people don't know is we are on two different time zones and we had quite a fun little mix up. Not the first time this has happened to me, Laura, with like the UK and stuff.
Okay, okay. I'm glad. I mean, I'm not glad, but it's a relief.
No, I appreciate you coming on and working with us. So I just wanted to talk to you. I followed your career for a while, and some of our viewers may know you. You were part of our Songs of Inspiration concert, which was really exciting. So I'd like to talk a little bit about how you got started, because I seem to remember reading that you were very shy and you didn't think you would get on stage ever. So I'm very curious how it all began.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So when I was like, I want to say probably 7 or 8 is when it started, 8 or 9, somewhere in there. My mom decided to put me into voice lessons, and I was like, no way. And So the first thing I did when I walked in to my first lesson is very confidently tell my teacher, "There's nothing you can do to make me sing for you." And she just kind of shrugged. She was like, "Okay, I guess she gets that a lot. I don't know," but she made me sing for her. And then she tells me I have a recital, and I'm like, "There is no way I'm singing for a recital." I had to do that. It was one of the scariest moments of my life. And everyone there, people in the front row, they told me, they were like, "Were you even singing?" Because apparently no sound came out. So I had a lot of stage fright at the beginning.
But from that, obviously, your love for music grew. So tell us a little bit about your first, how you like the next couple of years. Once you got past the stage fright, what was next for you?
Well, I got introduced to Josh Groban's music
Mm.
and Sarah Brightman, Charlotte Church. Those are all like where my inspiration started from. And the more I listened to their music, the more I wanted to sing. Um, and so that kind of helped me start to get over that stage fright because I was really falling in love with singing. I wanted to do what they were doing. And so I started doing more and more, and it was absolutely terrifying, but it got a little easier each time.
Well, tell us, so we've interviewed a lot of people that are performers, in the traditional sense, but what I love about you is that you're really doing this as a ministry. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the differences there.
Yeah, so my when I first started out, I was gonna go more of like, just the secular route, do secular music and all that. And then I ended up going to a school called Fountain View Academy,
Mhm.
which is really big on music. They travel all over the world, they make DVDs. So I went there and I got a really good foundation in music, and I really got a lot of experience in touring and performing and all that kind of stuff. And it was during my time there that I realized that it can be so much more satisfying to sing music that can have an impact on a person's life, for
Mm.
eternity. And I realized like that's what I want to do. I want to completely focus on that.
That's funny because my sister and I, we were contemplating going to Fountain View, so we actually went with
Really?
them to Ukraine once.
Oh,
I'm older than you, I think, so I think it was before.
I do remember the Ukraine trip. I remember hearing about that. And it wasn't
Okay,
too long before I went there, I don't think.
so yeah, we did that a while back. So yeah, it's in their program, like the videography and everything is, so amazing. So is that also where you met your husband, or?
No. No.
Okay, so
I
then we'll come to that then.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole different.
Whole different story. Okay, so you started taking lessons, then you went on to Fountain View, you got this different experience as well. So when did you first start recording albums, Laura?
Um, well, we don't like to talk about those first albums.
Okay.
They were really bad. I actually recorded a few before I went to Fountain View, and we had this like ancient box they called a Zoom machine. And oh man, it sounded like you're in a tunnel drenched in reverb, like a mile away. It was so bad. And then when I graduated, I remade those CDs, but was still doing it by myself. So I upgraded to GarageBand,
Nice. Okay.
but but I had no experience in how to record CDs, and so they were drenched in reverb, all in mono, no mixing, no editing, nothing. But I sold those CDs for 6 years somehow, and I'm just thankful that I ended up with a husband that knows how to do these things. But we'll get to that. But
Well, but I think that's good too, because we always think we have to go in at like perfection, but I
right.
think people really grow with you, through the years. They give us a lot of grace for those
It's
mistakes
true.
that we make. Okay, so at this point, you've had a couple albums, you started performing. Um, and I've actually been to one of your concerts. I was too nervous to say hi, but I've been there. So I heard a little bit of your story. Um, and I know that your husband is a big part of your ministry. And like you mentioned, he kind of does all the recording and everything. So if
Yeah,
we can just go a little bit into that story now about how
sure.
you guys met and the beautiful work you do together.
Sure. So basically, as soon as I graduated Fountain View, I started traveling full time, doing music ministry, and I did it by myself for 6 years. And so I'm like flying all over the country and doing all these things by myself, and it was fun. It was great. But after a while, it can start to get lonely. It can start to get
Yeah.
really tiring. You're always, around strangers most of the time. Um, so I started praying that God would send somebody that would bring to this ministry things that I couldn't myself,
Mm.
just much higher quality. Because a big thing for me is I believe that sacred music needs to be as high quality as possible, because I mean it's music for God. Like it should be the highest quality
Yeah.
that we can possibly do. And so I wanted somebody that would be able to bring that, and also, wouldn't mind the lifestyle of traveling all the time, living out of a suitcase, all of that. So I started praying, and I even made a list of everything I was looking for in a man. And I wrote a book to my future husband, all those things. And then one day I'm in Southern California, and I was there on tour, but I was staying with my brother. And I would do concerts on the weekends. And then during the week, I would work at his pizza place because him and his wife, they own a pizza place there. And one day this guy walks in and he's got spiked red hair and skeleton jewelry and a Marilyn Manson t shirt and uh, chains and everything. And he comes in and he saw my CDs there on the counter, and he says, "Hey, I'm going to school for audio engineering. If you ever want help recording, just give me a call." And he gave me his number. And then I made him his pizza and he left. But then he came back a couple hours later, ended up spending the evening with us, and then he started coming back every single day. So we hit it off right away. I mean, we were just like great friends right off the bat. But I also was, I told him, because I realized, that this wasn't strictly, I want to help you with your music. Um, so I sat him down and we had this talk about how, you know, I love being friends with you, and I hope that we can continue to be, but I just need you to know it's not going to go further than that, because, we have some major differences in our beliefs and lifestyle and all that. So he was like, okay, that's fine. And but then he had to drive me to this series, a revival series that was taking place, and he takes me there, and he ends up staying for the whole series, like 2 weeks long. I only had to sing for one meeting, but it caught his attention so much. And just long story short, there's so many details, but that series is what really got him like, wow, there's something to this. I really want to know more. And so he started studying like crazy, and before long, I mean, his whole life turned around. I got to see him give his life to God, and he ended up being just the person that I needed. He's an audio engineer, so he produces all my CDs. He took up videography, so he makes all my music videos.
Aw.
He took up photography, so he does, a lot of the photos and all of that, just everything. And he loves traveling.
Yeah, and if people haven't already seen your videos, they are really beautiful. And you guys do a lot because you have like I see your music rights that you're selling online, sheet music, like that's a lot of work to put it all together, right?
It is. It's pretty much nonstop.
So do you guys even have like a typical day in the life of a, person in music ministry, or is it just like super varied?
It's so different all the time. I mean, it's so hard to keep a schedule. I wish we could be on a solid schedule, even just as far as like when we eat and
Yeah.
when we sleep. But sometimes we're in a different state every other day. I think it was not last month, but the month before, we did 16 concerts back to back within like
Wow.
2, 3 weeks. And so it was almost every day a concert and then traveling the next day. We were in a different state almost every other day. It was intense. So it changes drastically. We just try to fit in our work as much as we can between, and yeah.
So what would you say, like if someone wanted to do music ministry, just say be open to change, I guess? And
Yeah, yeah, be open to change for sure, be flexible. Um, but it depends on how you structure it, really.
mm,
Like what's your focus gonna be? Is it gonna be concerts? Is it gonna be online? Um, and then you can kind of build off of that. We kind of just do everything, so that's why it's hard to stay consistent. Um, but yeah, it depends on how you want to structure it.
so once your husband got involved, you did this wonderful bundle and it was like able to buy all your CDs. So I got that. So tell us, some of them have like scripture reading and different things. So how did that process kind of change? Are you guys now recording from home? How did that work once he kind of took it up to the next level production wise?
Well, that's the nice thing about music today. It's so different than what it used to be. I think, maybe 10 years ago you couldn't do what we
Yeah.
can do now. So we do have our own studio. It's not quite as simple as we record at home. We actually just take our equipment on the road and record everywhere. Um, I honestly wish I would have taken a picture at every place that we've recorded and how we've set up our studio, because sometimes it's crazy. Just blankets everywhere and pillows here and there and falling on you while you're trying to record, everything like that. So, but we take it on the road with us and we record, and we want all of our music to have a purpose
Mm,
and to have context. So I don't generally just like to record random songs. Every CD has a theme. And if possible, I do like having things in between. Like, for example, we recorded The Gift of Redeeming Love, which is the whole story of Calvary. And then we put narrations between each song to tell the story and bring it
mhm.
together with both words and music. And that's how I like to structure things, to have a lot of context.
Yeah, and your concerts are very much that way. I arrived late to the one I went to, but it was a beautiful story about both of your conversion. And yeah, so if you guys get a chance, definitely check it out. We'll link to your tour schedule. They're really, really beautiful. I was touched.
I'm glad.
So tell us about your latest CD, because this is the first that's pretty much all original music for you and your husband, right? You put this together. So
Yeah, yeah. We finally, after years, because I mean, I'd write a little here, a little there, and finally managed to finish a fully original album. And it's kind of weird the way I write music. It's definitely not conventional, and musicians that are highly trained are going to be like, "What is this girl doing?" But I don't read music at all, and so I can't like compose or write my music down. And if I play it, I play it once and then I forget. So a lot of those songs, what I would do is just I write the lyrics first, and then I have like the general idea of what I want the melody to be like, but then I push record and I start playing, and whatever happens happens, and I'll do it until it's right. And but it's different every take. And then once I manage to get to the end of the song without any mistakes, that's it. And then I can't usually play it back the same way. So that's why I then hire my mom to make the scores. She writes out all the music that I can't read.
oh, that's awesome though that you can work with her. So she's the one that plays on all your albums.
For the original album, I played on a lot of them. She did some of them because we co-wrote some of them. But all my other albums, yeah, she plays those.
Oh, that's really awesome though. And I think like everyone's process is so different. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that Pavarotti couldn't read music and he did it all by ear. So I think
I
you're
think
in
I
good
heard that
company.
too. There's a lot of them out there, more than you'd expect, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all learn so differently too, right? And I think
Yeah.
um, I can't write songs yet. I want to someday, but I think it's always interesting to hear the different processes. And did they like come to you randomly, like you're, cooking or something, or do you kind of sit down and think, now I'm going to write this?
Sometimes the idea usually comes randomly. Yeah, like one song I remember walking by a Zoom call that somebody was doing, and I could hear the group, and one of the people in the groups just said something, and I was like, yeah, I could do a song off of that.
And off you go. So I did hear that you potentially are working towards two new albums. So tell us a little bit what those would be like or based on.
Right. Yeah. So we have two that are in the works, almost done. The first one that's going to come out is called Scripture Songs for the Last Days. And that's basically my mom, like 15 years ago, she wrote like 35 scripture songs,
Mm.
and made a CD. And I'm basically going to take that and remake it, re-record all those songs and everything. So the songs are all hers, but it's going to be completely original scripture songs, um, because I just think that's so important today, to
Yeah.
have the ability to memorize these scriptures. And then the next one will be a CD called Never Alone. And that one is all focused on songs that bring comfort to people, especially like right now, people are at home, people aren't getting the interaction as much as they
Yeah.
used to. And a lot of people are feeling lonely. And I hope that this CD can encourage people that are feeling that way, that they are never alone, and God's always there no matter how isolated they may feel.
So how can people get involved in supporting your journey?
They can go to my website and see everything there. They have the CDs are there. Our bio that has more of our story. There's a donation page there if they want to support what we're doing and getting these albums out. Pretty much everything is on there.
Perfect. You have a Patreon too, right? I think.
I do have a Patreon, yes. And I also do a newsletter. You can sign up on the newsletter from my website, but on the newsletter I send out, when new CDs come out and different stories of our travels. We do regular vlogs, like video vlogs of our travels. So all of that's on the newsletter.
And also one other fun thing that I saw in your channel is you and your husband are actually building your own house.
Yeah.
So how did that begin? How were you like, we're going to just build our own house?
Yeah. Well, so we were going the route of thinking we should just get an RV and just live in that on the road.
Yeah.
But the doors just did not open for that, and so we started seeing that that wasn't the direction we were supposed to go. And then right after that, my parents ended up moving, and they bought a property that had a big like RV garage on the property, and so they built their own house from nothing.
Okay.
They just finished it, and then they have allowed us to build within that garage. And so we're on that property, but we're kind of building our own little apartment. It's going to be a place that we can go and we're not traveling, but also a studio that we can bring other musicians to. And it's so close to being done. I actually just finished the floor last week, and they're putting in the
Wow.
trim this week.
That is awesome. But I mean, like, was that something your family was used to doing, building projects? Or
No,
no? Okay.
we've never done that before. We have a contractor friend that helped my parents on their house, and then he's also Ernie and I and my dad. We built a lot of the house, pretty much up to this point. But then we left. We're on a 10-month tour right now, currently. So we left in August. So since then, I've been hiring my dad and our contractor friend to finish. But now we've had to learn it every step of the way.
Wow. So is it like a lot of YouTube videos that you're looking up for?
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
That is super cool. I don't know that I would trust myself to do that, but I love that you guys are
Well, it was good having our contractor friend. He would do like the mathematics and all the measuring and then tell us what to do, and then we did it, and then he'd come and check it. So that was super helpful.
So yeah, definitely have someone that knows what you're doing on your team if you're
Oh
going to
yeah.
try that at home. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me, Laura. It's been so good to get to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
And so this will air not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. So share maybe a couple of the upcoming dates that you'll have that people can catch you at if you know them off the
Okay.
top of your head.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to share right
Yeah,
now?
if you know
Okay.
them. If not, that's okay.
Okay. Well, right now we aren't moving around too much. We actually tonight we're starting a 3-week evangelistic series in Bend, Oregon.
Okay.
So we're gonna be here for the next 3.5 weeks. And then doing meetings every night, and then we'll head back to Arkansas. I'm actually working on scheduling concerts while we're there again, so I don't have those dates yet, but they can check on my website and I'll
Lovely
be
there.
putting them up. And then we'll have another series in Texas, like starting I think middle of March.
So you're staying busy. How about new videos? Because I know you just did a video for Ancient Words. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that's coming up?
I actually, when we get back to Arkansas, we're gonna do a video with a school there, a local
Oh, nice.
school, with their choir. We recorded a song last time we were there, and so we'll make the video for that one.
Oh, that's really exciting. Well, everyone go support, subscribe, all those lovely things follow. And just thank you so much, Laura. I really appreciate you coming and chatting with me.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.